Introducing the Bite Me Cannabis Club. The Bite Me Cannabis Club aims to be an inclusive online space for cannabis lovers. Whether you're simply curious about how cannabis can improve your life or you're fully seasoned, there's always more to learn. When you join the Bite Me Cannabis Club, you'll have access to like-minded people interested in cannabis, monthly workshops, live Q&As, recipes and recipe swaps, digital cookbooks, a fully functional chat feature, and a whole lot more. For a limited time, it's only $5 a month with a 30-day free trial so you can try it out and see if it's right for you. This isn't just another Facebook group or confusing Discord channel. I carefully chose a platform that offers a clear, uncluttered, and seamless community experience. See for yourself, join today, say hello. I can't wait to connect with you there. Join the Bite Me Cannabis Club today. Link in your podcast app. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bite Me, the show about edibles. I'm your host, Marge, and I'm here to help you take control of your high life. Can you believe this is episode 18? I can scarcely believe it myself. Pretty excited to be here today, and I'm super happy that you're here listening with me as we talk about all things edibles. Isn't life grand? I have to say it is. In my neck of the woods, we just got a bunch of snow. So if you listened to last week's episode on infusing cream, highly recommend you do it, because then you can use that cream to add to your coffee, your teas, your hot chocolate. Or if you want to be a little extra, add some sugar to that cream, whip it up real good, and then you can have whipped cream on your hot chocolate or whatever it is you're having on a cold, frosty night. It isn't even winter yet here in Canada, my neck of the woods, and yet we have this lovely dusting of snow. Who knows if it'll last, but at the rate we're going, it looks like we're going to have a white Christmas. So if you're also enjoying snow, then I sympathize with you, but lessen the blow of the snow by making the infused cream that we talked about in last week's episode. And you can find a simple recipe for it up on Instagram. I believe I posted it there. And if not, I will before this is published or this is launched or whatever. It'll also be probably found on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff at Bite Me Podcast. So that gives you a quick place to go just to find the recipe if you don't want to listen to the podcast. The podcast itself is super short, so you can find that there. You'll thank me later. It's pretty easy to make too. So that's another quick fun infusion that you can do that's nice to have in your arsenal. Though, again, not great for long-term storage in this case, but no matter. So last week I also talked about how I'm planting a cannabis seed, and I finally got around to doing that. And so far, nothing. So that's a little anticlimactic, I know. I'm just waiting for this little seed to poke its head up out of the dirt. Actually, I have it in like one of those rock wool cubes, those little rock wool cubes or whatever, back from our growing days. And I'm just waiting to see that little seed head pop up and open. And I hope it does. I've got a nice, bright, sunny window. And again, I'm just planting this thing, not because I'm hoping to get some big fat yield in 3 months or whatever. I just want, why not have a cannabis plant as a house plant? I mean, why not? That's what I'm thinking. I do hope to grow some outdoor next year, which, you know, would like to have some big fat yields. But for this particular project, I just want to have a cannabis house plant. And what I'm kind of interested in seeing is if it gets big enough, soon enough, what will happen over the holidays when we have company over, family and whatnot? Will they notice this cannabis plant? To set the stage for you all, we do have a table of plants in a window. So it would be hidden amongst the other plants, the mother-in-law tongues and the spider plants and all these other things that I've got. So it's not like it would be a single plant for people to notice, but I wonder if people will notice it. I also wonder how much it might stink. So there is that. It'll be a fun experiment to see where that ends up in a few months. Also today I had fun. I'm going to be making some cookies soon. I've been getting pretty lazy lately, you guys. I made these fat bombs. Again, I also posted that online on my Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. Minds as well, if you're familiar with that platform. I've been eating these fat bombs every night, and they are a quick and easy recipe. If you're following any particular diet, as many people are these days, you're paleo, you're doing keto, you're doing low carb, whatever, they're great for that as well because there are only a few ingredients. There's no flour or wheat or anything like that in it. They're carb free essentially. And the longest part is just waiting for them to set. So you put them in the freezer and they set over a few hours. So I've been eating those every night. Pop a couple of those. Nice relaxing high for the evening when I'm just chilling. And I haven't been really making any cookies, but I'm going out of town tomorrow to visit my daughter, and I want to have some cookies to bring with me because, that's how else do you say I love you than by bringing edibles to your adult daughter. So that's what I want to do. But I go into my cupboard today to make these cookies. I'm like, you know what? I've got the day off. I've got a list of things to do, one of which was making these cookies. I go to my cupboard where I have all my infusions, and I go to grab the coconut oil, and much to my shock and dismay, what do I find? I had used up my coconut oil making the fat bombs last time. Pretty disappointed with myself because I remember mentally thinking the last time I made the fat bombs, a week ago or so, I remember thinking, note to self, make some more weed butter. And of course, I didn't write it down, so I didn't do it. Well, that was disappointing. But no worries. I'm like, great. You know what? I've got lots of things I can do today. I can put some butter on in the magical butter machine, let it run, and then off I go. So I start measuring out the decarbed weed that I have also in my infusions cupboard. Also only to find that I didn't have enough decarbed weed. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, I'm the one preaching how to be prepared so that when you're ready to make something, you've got it ready to go and it doesn't become this big thing. So fortunately, I had a big bag of trim in my cupboard as well, and I had to decarb that first. Nobody was in the house, thankfully, because it does stink up the house pretty good. So I had to decarb more weed, so I was able to make the weed butter. But it just ended up being a bit of a longer process than it had to be because I discovered I was just going to make cookies today, and then I had to decarb weed and then make the weed butter and then make the cookies. So it was a bit of a process. I try to avoid having that happen to me, but sometimes even the best prepared people can sometimes let things lapse. Maybe I'm eating too many edibles in the evenings and forgot to write that shit down. I don't know. But that was on me. Anyway, first world pains, am I right? Honestly, if the worst thing I have to complain about today is the fact that my weed pantry was understocked, well, I'm sure not too many people are going to have much sympathy with me. So I managed to overcome. I'm sure you'll all be happy to hear that. I just also want to mention right now this website that I'm slowly building, that I'm hoping to have up and running in the near future, whenever that might be, is going to be a repository for a lot of these things that I'm talking about. You might be on Facebook, you might be on Instagram, you might not. It doesn't really matter. I hope to have it all in one place so you can easily find it. Hey, if you want to listen to a podcast while you're at it and listen to my soothing voice, then you'll have that option too. If you want to just click right over to a recipe I'm talking about, that'll be there. Well, it'll be wonderful, won't it? So I hope you'll join me. You can actually, if you want to find out when it's going to be live, you can go over to, what's the address? The website is bitemepodcast.weebly.com. bitemepodcast.weebly.com, and Weebly is WEEBLY. I think, yeah, no one's going to remember that, but maybe I'll put it in the show notes or something like that. If you want to go over, you just put in your email address, and then whenever I get this fucker up and running, you can, I'll let you know. And rest assured, I'm not collecting or selling your data like the big evil corporations out there are doing these days. Your email address is safe with me because, like you, I hate spam. And why in the hell I'm getting emails from some quilting place, I have no fucking idea, but somebody obviously sold my email to somebody, and now I get some pretty random stuff. The love of quilting, you people are sending me unwanted emails. I'm just going to say that right now. I do not quilt, nor have I ever in the past, and don't plan to anytime in the future. But just know, friends, that I have no intention of selling your email addresses to anybody. So you can rest assured. So if you want to do that and find out when this website is live, it's taking me a little longer, of course, as all things always do. Isn't that the way it goes? These things always take longer than you expect. So it's a bit of a slow process. I'm hoping to have something up by the new year. I'm being realistic. It's going to be a busy month, and of course, for I'm sure everybody listening, December is a bit of a shit show. Trying to make some interesting edibles for the friends and family that come over. I'm not sure which family will be the ones to benefit from some of my concoctions, but it's going to be a pretty lit Christmas, I'm sure. So moving on to today's book review. I guess I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the episode, but that's what we're talking about. I bought some books at the bookshop the other day. I actually went in to a bookstore. I did not order off Amazon. Amazon, you are convenient sometimes, but sometimes you just want to hold the book, touch the book, flip through it before you make that purchasing decision. And I thought I'd check out and see what selection this bookstore had for cannabis cookbooks. And they had some really great ones. I've actually picked up a couple. I'm just going to be talking about the one today. I did see a couple other ones that looked good, but not great. Not enough for me to spend my hard-earned dollars on them. So the one that I ended up picking up, one of the two, actually, and I've actually gotten some great recommendations from other cookbooks, too. They had several that were available, just not in stock for me to look at. So unfortunately, the recommendation I got from Dave one time from the US of A recommended a couple of great books, but I haven't been able to pick those up yet. The one that I picked up is called Edibles, Small Bites for the Modern Cannabis Kitchen by Stephanie Hua and with Corinne Carroll. Stephanie, if you happen to be listening to this, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. If you're looking for it online, it is Stephanie Hua. And it's a beautiful hardcover book. And what really appealed to me, besides the fact that I have beautiful food photography on the cover, there's beautiful photography on the inside. It gives you, of course, in the beginning of the book, you might be able to hear me flipping through it right now, the basics on, like how to make your basic infusions so you can get started, which is sort of like the basis for every concoction you're going to make. So it gives you the basic infusions. Tells you a bit about how to decarboxylate, because we all know if you're a listener to this podcast, you must decarboxylate. It also gives you some tips on entertaining, some tools that you should have if you're going to be getting into this. If you've been cooking for a while, you'll probably have most of these, so you won't have to worry about running out to buy extra stuff, but it can also be an opportunity to pick up a few things if you want to add to your kitchen tool arsenal. It gives you some information on dosing calculations, which is always important, information on terpenes. So it gives you a lot of great information. But the recipes themselves, what really appealed to me about this book is that they were all bites, all small bites. So they weren't all sweets. There was quite a few sweets, but not all of them. But they were all like bites or shareable items. And I really feel like when you're doing a cannabis edible, a lot of the books that I've picked up, even that Bon Appetit book that I have, might have a recipe on doing like a stew or a whole dish of something. But I find that sometimes it's nice to have that one bite or two of that thing that you want to eat that's infused. And you can have, depending on how you've dosed it, you can have a little bit or a lot. But I feel like it's the better way to consume edibles. And I think that's what really appealed to me about this book. Some of these recipes in here, I mean, they have cookie recipes, a roasted grape crostini. They've got, well, here's one that looked really great, a green eggs and ham. And they're essentially infused prosciutto cups. So it was like prosciutto made the cup, you put them in muffin tins, and you had egg and some grated cheese. So that was like a small bite as well. They have truffles, carrot cake energy bites. There's a beet hummus, again, shareable because you can put some of that on your cracker or vegetables or whatever you're eating. That was the basis for this cookbook, which really appealed to me. And actually, the one thing that I'm super excited to make out of this book is the fried mac and cheese. If you I wish I could post a picture. Maybe I can like screenshot it or take a picture of it with my phone and then create a post so you can see what it looks like. But the fried mac and cheese looks incredible. Now, I do understand this beautiful food photography results may vary, and my fried mac and cheese might not look quite like it does in the picture. Most likely won't, but as long as it tastes the same. But they're like these little fried mac and cheese bites. Little bite-sized pieces of like a breaded mac and cheese, and there's the melted cheese and pasta on the inside. Looks phenomenal. So that's what I really liked about this book, and also a lot of the ingredients and whatnot didn't seem overly difficult to find. Sometimes I find in some of these Canada cookbooks, in the effort to seem ultra gourmet and stuff like that, it can make it seem really inaccessible for a home chef with limited skills. Now, another one I think I'll be trying is the banana cream and salted caramel cookie cups. Those look incredible too. And as somebody with a raging sweet tooth, I don't know how I'm not going to gain another fucking 10 pounds over Christmas, but here's hoping. Probably won't happen as long as I'm making stuff like that. But, oh yeah, everything just looks beautiful. So again, that's the book that I've picked up. I think it's worthwhile because, again, it's all small bites, beautiful photos, a wealth of information. And it's got quite a few recipes to try for every skill level as well. And I'm sure once you get more comfortable, if you're not doing too much cannabis cooking at the moment, once you're getting more comfortable, it'll have a lot of great projects in there that you can branch out into. All the pictures, I'm just flipping through it now, and it just makes me want to try everything. Oh my God, I forgot. Here's the one, the cardamom caramels. I mean, what? Cardamom caramels. Not only do they sound fancy, but they also suggest that it's actually a really easy recipe to make, and that's speaking my language, people. Simple to make. So some of the recipes are a little more complicated, but there are plenty of recipes in here that look pretty simple to do. And with the holidays coming, making something like caramels, which you can gift as well to friends and family, or a great time to be experimenting with some new stuff, some new recipes. The only thing I did notice is that each individual recipe does not give the average potency. So the Bon Appetit book that I have, each recipe will tell you if you're infusing honey or whatever, or you're using it in this recipe, this is the average potency. And of course, I've realized all these potencies can vary pretty widely depending on lots of different factors, as I'm sure any home cannabis chef knows. But this book doesn't give you any. So you pretty much have to go from whatever it is that you've infused. And again, it does give you the instructions on how to calculate your dosing for whatever it is you're doing. But then it's kind of up to you to figure out from there with each recipe that you're using what the approximate dosage will be. So that's maybe my one complaint about this particular book. Pretty minor though. The other thing that I do like too is it gives you active time, like the hands-on time. So for instance, these cardamom caramels, it says it'll take you about 35 minutes to put it together. Inactive time of 3 hours. They probably have to set, so you're putting them in the freezer or something like that. And it gives you an approximation of how many it should make. So then you can make your calculations from there. So it does give you some pretty relevant information. I like the active time because that really does give you an idea. I usually also figure for myself active time, you could probably add 10 or 20% to that time because, I don't know, some contingencies, interruptions, you realize you don't have a recipe, you got to wash something, I don't know. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but knowing that average active time is pretty useful. So if I experiment with any of these out of this book, I'll be sure to let you know how it goes. Again, it's called Edibles, Small Bites for the Modern Cannabis Kitchen. I picked it up at Chapters in Canada. It's a Canadian store, so if you're in the States or outside of Canada, you wouldn't have that, but it's probably available in any larger bookstores or online. It's a really great book. I'm pretty excited to use. So I'll be talking about the other book that I picked up recently too, but I'm probably going to try some of the recipes out of it first to let you know how it goes. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys find something fun and creative to make. Again, if you ever have any questions or comments, if you have book recommendations, because I love new books, I would love to hear them, which reminds me, I'm going to see if I can find Dave's recommendations because they were great. Oh, yes. He recommended the 420 Gourmet with Jeff, the 420 Chef, if you're on Instagram. Oh, and Edibles, by Stephanie Hua. That's so funny, Dave. Well, thank you. It just so happens that they had that at the bookstore, and I see why you recommended it. Beautiful book, the Edibles, and of course, the 420 Gourmet. I would like to find his book too, but they didn't have it there. So yeah, if you have any other questions or comments, please email me. I love to hear from people. It lets me know that somebody's out there listening and I'm not just talking into the void. And if you want to do that, it's Bite Me Podcast at fastmail.com. And yeah, you can hit me up with anything. Funny stories, book recommendations, product recommendations, tips, advice, feedback, whatever it might be. And other than that, let me have a look at my notes. I think that's it. We're at about 20 minutes now, you guys, and I try and keep these short and sweet so you can slide them in easily between your other podcast shows you'd like to listen to. Oh, there's lots of great podcasts out there. So I hope to make this fun and short. And have a great week, you guys. Until next week. And if you've got snow wherever it is you are, stay warm, friends. Bye. Are you tired of trying edibles that are inconsistent in strength and flavor? Attempting to figure out your tolerance? Do you want to take control of your edibles experience and find the optimum combination of factors that results in the best outcome? If so, this edibles journal is perfect for you. The Bite Me Edibles Journal provides a convenient and organized way for you to track and record your edibles experience, whether it's homemade edibles or store-bought. It includes 48 fillable pages. It's sized 8.5 by 11 for plenty of writing space, includes information on calculating the potency of homemade edibles, and it was created by an edibles expert. Whether you're a seasoned edibles enthusiast or just starting out on your cannabis journey, the Bite Me Edibles Journal is an essential tool for anyone interested in enjoying their edibles to the fullest. Take control of your high life with this convenient and helpful resource. Add it to your Amazon cart today. Tap the link in the show notes.